Oh boy. Here we go. Fingers crossed. Knock on wood. Everything goes swell. It's been a long time since I've done something like this. And I've just realised I haven't changed the settings on my OBS. It should be fine. It's not like I'm actually playing a game or anything. I'm just going to be looking at one browser and see my silly face in the corner. So it should be good. 1 second. That's not what I want. What else do I want? That's the one. Just put that in there. Alright, so let's add some context. A long time ago on my original YouTube channel, I did a tier list of Digimon Adventure. It was all the different series, films, and I even chucked in the PSP game for shits and giggles. After my channel got taken down, my original channel that is, I re-uploaded that tier list video onto another YouTube channel, and I've kind of just left that channel on the bench while I focus on the other two accounts I now have, that I now use. This is me trying to give life to that third account, basically, and I figured the best way to get started in that is to do a redo of that tier list for Digimon Adventure, especially since now I'm up to date with Digimon Adventure, and at the time of the stream, the latest Digimon Adventure product is the new Adventure 2 film. So here we are. So this is what I did once before this film was released. I watched it a couple days ago, and yeah, I'm just gonna do a tier list of Digimon Adventure, the most nostalgic series for me personally. Grew up watching it. I had a revelation earlier today, actually, that I've been watching this anime for 2 decades now. I'm 27 years old, and I started watching Digimon Adventure when I was like 6. So, hot a damn a diggity. It's been a long time. It's been a long time. So, with all that out of the way, with all that said, let's jump right in. Let's get this started. Another good thing is that redoing this tier list, obviously, times have changed. My opinions might have changed on certain things. And this time we're going to go in order. I've ordered this in a much more better structure. There's no repeats. There's no other issues. So let's get started. Let's actually get this ball rolling, shall we? I really hope there isn't that many issues with the stream, because I realise I didn't change the settings back to what I usually have them for streaming, but it should be fine. Again, it's just my webcam and one Google browser. Tell you what, we can close Steam. I'm not using Steam at the moment. Don't need that to take up space. Very, very much so. Right, let's actually get this tier list going, shall we? So first up is the adventure film that started it all, released in, oh, when was this released? 90, 5? I don't remember. I don't know for certain. This movie came out, yeah, it must have been something like that. Anyway, simple film, very short. It's just an origin story, sort of. Tai and Kari's first. Oh, by the way, I'm going to be referring to the characters in with their English names. I grew up watching the English dub. I've obviously broadened my horizons over the years, as it were, and watched some of this in Japanese, but I'm used to English. I speak English. It makes sense. So, TK. Tai and Kari meeting their first Digimon, meeting Agumon for the first time, and just like every usual night for two kids meeting a digital monster, another digital monster showed up, and it digivolved into a T-Rex versus a parrot. Pretty good. There's not much else to really say about the film proper, though. I think it is just a delightful little short film to just sit back, relax, and watch. There's nothing else really to say. It's good. Now, let's start off with the first meaty edition of this tier list. Digimon Adventure Season 1. The OG. The one that started it all. Nostalgia has never been stronger for it for me. This is the most nostalgic series for me, and I won't lie, my nostalgia glasses are gonna help decide this tier list ranking for this one. To put it simply, I love Digimon Adventure. It is so sweet. It is so just... It's my comfort show. But let's try and not focus on nostalgia for a second. It obviously shows its age in a lot of areas, but I still think the story is generally really well done. No character is shoved aside. Like, you've got Tai as the main protagonist, yeah. You definitely have more focus on Matt at times, or Izzy, but despite the large roster of Adventure, everyone gets to shine. Everyone gets their own episodes. Everyone gets their chance to be basically the main hero of the story. Even Kari, despite the fact that she doesn't join till later on in the series. And I think that's one of the things that made me fall in love with this series and these characters so much, is that all of them get a chance to shine. All of them get a chance to grow and develop and just become stronger and more capable characters as the story progresses. Same for the Digimon partners. They don't get as much character development, let's be real, but Agumon's cool, Gabumon's a loyal friend, Tentomon has the best lines in the whole franchise, there's no denying that. And yeah, it's just... I feel like I could just ramble on about Season 1 of Adventure for so long. There's so much I could say about it. Without nostalgia, I think it is still a very nice, charming, fun adventure to watch through. Great cast of characters, still a good story, still great action scenes despite the aged animation, and music is really good too. The dub music is definitely weaker than the Japanese music, but the dub music still has some really great songs to it. Now, without nostalgia, I would probably say Digimon Adventure is A tier. But with nostalgia, with my love for this series, with the amount of times I've watched this series to death, and just enjoyed watching these characters grow, dealing with Devimon on Fire Island, heading into the desert and dealing with Etamon, everything involving Myotismon and Wizardmon, and getting Kari and Gatomon added to the team, and then with the Dark Masters as well, getting more Greymon and Metal Garurumon. Things are just that good. Yes. Like I said, I could literally just keep talking about Adventure. There's so much more I could talk about, but I feel like I could probably have this be an hour to 2 hour long stream of me just talking about Season 1 of Adventure, but that's not what this is about. This is supposed to be about everything Digimon Adventure. So, let's move on. Our war game. Introduction of Omnimon, and is probably the most... what's the best word for it? Everyone knows about this film. Everyone talks about it. It's definitely the most memorable part of the English version, which we will get to soon. But on its own, our war game I think is really good. My complaint with our war game, and the complaint I've always had with some of these older Digimon Adventure films, is when some of the characters get benched, and it's not for good reasons in my opinion. So let's recap. Joe is on an exam. Okay, fair play. Something important at least. Kari's at a birthday party. This one always bugged me, because Tai gets a hold of Kari on the phone. Just mention the word Digimon, Tai, and Kari would come running. Like, it's that simple. I don't understand. I don't understand. I've complained about this, ranted about this in previous recordings, talking about mainly the Digimon English dub film, but it's a problem with this version too, damn it. And then there's Sora, who's off moping. She's just moping about an argument she had with Tai. Again, just mention to Sora Digimon and she'll get involved. She's not that immature. Sora's one of the most mature members of the team. Who else was it? Oh, Mimi. Well, she's on vacation, hard to get a hold of, so I could maybe let that slide. But if there's one thing I've always complained about with these films, is just seeing half of the roster just getting benched. I'd never liked that. Focusing on the more positive side, though, fight scenes are good, story is still enjoyable, and Omnimon is a fantastic Digimon. So, I'll still put it in A tier. Adventure 2. Have you ever wanted to like something have you ever wanted to like something, but then the more you look at it, the more you think of it, you just go, like, Adventure 2 is not bad. I can still watch it and enjoy it and have a great time. But every time I go back to Adventure 2, I find a new problem with either its story or just something else involving the structure or the characters or something. I think Adventure 2's biggest issue is, once Ken stopped being the Digimon Emperor, there wasn't really... It doesn't feel like they had a plan after Ken stopped being the Digimon Emperor to me. Like, yeah, there was this story going on, and we get to meet a character who got possessed by Myotismon, and by the way, Myotismon lived. Spoilers. And he came back, and he was like the main villain behind everything. It's just... I don't hate the second half of Adventure 2, but it feels weaker than the first half of Ken as the Digimon Emperor. I think that's the best way of putting it. But we get introduced to new characters. We get Davis, we get Yodi, we get Cody. More on Yodi and Cody later, I feel, once we get to these films. Davis, he's just charming. He's goofy. I still don't know how he became the leader when TK was standing right there. That's something I can definitely bring up. TK should have been the leader. And I hate how, even if it would have been just a little bit, well, it wouldn't be a little bit, even if it was going to be a copy and paste of Tai and Matt's rivalry from Adventure 1, TK and Davis should have had more of a rivalry focused in on leadership. How to approach different situations, how to deal with certain situations, all that stuff. TK gets benched hard during Adventure 2. He gets very little to do. He has a great scene where he punches Ken. Fantastic scene. Probably his greatest scene in anything Digimon Adventure. But it's just one scene. After that, TK's just put at the side again. When TK's having anger issues later on in the story, the only character that seems to be affecting is Cody. And it's like, well, Kari, Davis, Matt. Not only do we not really have a scene where those characters seem concerned about TK's anger, there doesn't seem to be even really much care on either side about the situation. It's just really just a conflict for TK and Cody's DNA Digivolution taking longer than the others. But focusing on the Digimon for a second, I like Vmon. Vmon's great. And Wormmon, he's... You want to talk about loyalty. Wormmon is probably one of the most loyal friends you could ever ask for. He put up with so much shit with Ken as the Digimon Emperor because he still believed that the Ken he knew was still in there. It's great. Again, Ken as the Digimon Emperor, the storyline with that stuff is really good. I love it. It's great. But after that, Adventure 2 falls. It falls. The stuff with the Destiny Stones and Black War Greymon gets worse and worse every time I rewatch it. Because it's just the same episode for like 6 episodes or something like that. I don't know. It's not as positive, but like Adventure 1, there's a lot I could say about Adventure 2, but I feel like we need to move on. So Adventure 2, I can still enjoy it. It's still great in a lot of areas. I'm going to put it in B tier. B is still a good tier list. It's good. Now, speaking of good, this is a very long title, and I can't be asked to say it all, so I'm just going to say the Adventure 2 film here, in introducing us to Willis and Terriermon and whatnot. Really great. Really great. This abomination here really ruined what this film had to offer. Like, when I finally sat down and watched the original Japanese version of this movie, wow. It's so good. It's dark. It has some great moments. The Adventure 1 cast actually show up. I mean, granted, they're not given much to do, but it makes sense. Like this movie, the English version completely removes the Adventure 1 cast. Like, that's the reason why TK and Kari are where they are to start up the story. They're visiting Mimi. And while the dub version mentions that, we don't see Mimi. So it's just a lot of weird cuts in this version, which really ruined it. But the original version, there's so much just greatness going on with this film. I feel like it's at a point where it's underrated. I don't think this film gets talked about enough. I would probably put this in A tier. So we got these 3 films all together in A tier. I think that's fair. But now we get to the Digimon movie. The Digimon rap on its own would make this S tier, but unfortunately I can't look at it like that. So I don't hate this movie as much as I used to. When I was a kid, I loved it. Then I got older and found out how this movie came to be with these 3 films, and that's when I turned against it. But growing up, you can still enjoy it, I feel. It's these 3 movies merged into one big film that I guess I should give props to the guys actually managing to make a story with these 3 films connected to one another, because it can't have been easy. It can't have been, not with what type of story arcs these 3 films go on, and obviously the different time periods that they take place in. So it has its flaws. It definitely doesn't do these 3 films justice. Like the English version of there's like a new English sub for all these 3 films. I have no idea when they're coming out, but I'm really excited watching those. But until then, the only English version of these films is still this, and I'll put it in B tier. I can still load it up and enjoy it. That's what matters. Now, here we have one that I think doesn't get talked about a lot. Digimon Adventure 2 Revenge of the Aboromon. I'm going to try and keep this one short. It's good. It's short. It doesn't have much going on. It's just Diaboromon's back for a second round. And it's a story of the O2 group involved as well. Again, it kind of sucks that certain characters can't contribute that much. But Izzy's probably my favourite character in the film. It's still nice that we get to see Ty and Matt with Omnimon, and then TK and Kari joining in. And then later on, Davis and Ken basically just have to close up shop. And yeah, there's not much else to really say. I'm going to put this... I'll put it in B. Still good. It's still enjoyable. I can have a fun time. I think that's what B tier should represent. They have faults. They're not perfect. But they are they can still be enjoyed. They can still be just something to sit back, relax, and watch. Now, this is kind of just an extra one, a silly one. It's the Digimon Adventure PSP game. Basically a retelling of Digimon Adventure with some extra stuff thrown in involving protagonists from all the Digimon series at that time. I was finally able to play the game a few years back because it was Japanese exclusive, which sucks. But there's a fan translation. I got that version, played that, and yeah, it's okay. I mean, I can't put it in S tier because I can't just look at it as, you know, Digimon Adventure. Again, it needs to be looked at as a game as well. And yeah, I'll put it in B tier. It's fine. You get to play as all the characters. You get to do just go through the events of the anime. And yeah, there's not much else to really say. A gameplay, I played Cyber Sleuth, so I could easily jump into the gameplay and get used to it. It was good. The soundtrack's good too. Now, we get to, I think, the most interesting portion of this. Because, again, I'll try not to ramble on for this, too long for this, but like Adventure 1 and 2, there's a lot I could say about Tri. And for Tri, we've got all 6 films here separately, and then we've got Tri here as a whole. So, the first Tri film, I think it immediately shows the issues that Tri was going to have throughout its entire story. But I remember being very excited when I first watched it. I think one of the happiest things for me was hearing some of the other English voice actors sounding the same, like it's the same people that voiced the characters from the original, because they revealed that Tai and Agumon were their original voice actors, but they didn't reveal anyone else. So when I first heard Izzy specifically, I was just like, oh shit, it's the same voice, let's go. Omnimon and Alphamon at the end, fantastic fight, love it, one of my favourite fights in Digimon Adventure. Music, glorious. It's thanks to Tri that I ended up appreciating both new and old Digimon Japanese music. Aside from that though, yeah, I don't think there's anything else to really say about the first Tri film. It's fine, it's enjoyable. It immediately shows the issues that the series is going to have, but I think on its own the first Tri film can still be a good watch, so I'm going to put it in A. Now, second Tri film, immediately the quality goes down in my opinion. I think this is a really okay movie. If I haven't made it obvious already, I've watched these as films. I've never watched these as episodes. I don't know how it is when you watch it as a series. But the second movie, decent enough, passable. But I put it in B. I think this is the film where things got really infuriating for the O2 fans. Because the O2 cast are just shoved aside in Tri. They are just... We see silhouettes of them at the start being defeated. And it's just like... Okay, you want to focus on the Adventure 1 cast, fine. But where are the Adventure 2 casts? You can't just ignore them. And I think that's the thing that's really frustrating about Tri. Even if you don't want to focus on them, they should still be there. They should still be important. They should still be mentioned. We have one scene where TK and Kari are trying to get in touch with Ken to figure out what's going on. For in this film, I believe it was, the third movie. And that's it. There's no other instances of the characters showing any concern on where the O2 squad are. There's no concern about their Digimon when they fight Imperial Digimon in the second movie. There's no, like... There's just nothing. There's no concerns or no urgency to try and find out what's going on with the O2 gang. There's nothing, none of it. And that was really frustrating with Tri. And, yeah, the other thing about these earlier films is that I like the Infection storyline. And the Infection storyline of Tri kind of just falls off the rails as it goes along. Like, the third film, I would say, is the last film that focuses on it, really. So speaking of the third film, I want to put it in C. It has its moments, but it's just quality's going further down. Sorry. The stuff about the reboot is intense, and I like the final scene where the characters reunite with the Digimon when their memories are lost, but Now, the full film. The film that takes place in the digital world, I want to point out for Try, it's just boring. I remember just being bored of it. I don't think it's bad, but it's just dull. D for dull. D for dull. I don't like it that much. I won't say it's terrible, but I remember thinking it's boring, and whenever I've gone back to Try, this film has always been the one that's been the closest to putting me to sleep. And that's insane because, again, this is the film where the characters are in the digital world. And we get to see certain locations that we're familiar with as well, but it's just, it doesn't impact the way I think they wanted it to impact you. Now this is where I might get a little bit of a, I don't know if I'm in the what's the cat word for it? Oh, I can't think of the right phrasing for it. Let's just say I can't think of the right fucking phrase, and it's driving me mad. But the majority or the minority here. That's it. I couldn't think of those fucking words. I don't know if I'm in the majority or the minority for this, but I'm going to do 2 for 1 here. Boom, boom. It sucks. It sucks. I want to like Try, but every time I rewatch it, it starts off okay. It starts off with some issues, but still an enjoyable ride. Then the ride gets a little bit more bumpier, but it's still good. It's still good. Then it gets a little bit more bumpier, but I can still have some fun with it. Then I start going, and then I wake back up again to watch these 2 films, and I'm just like, Jesus Christ, they had no idea. Like, reminder, Adventure Try was supposed to be the 15th anniversary back in 2015. These 2 films didn't come out to 2018. It's ridiculous. It's stupid. In short, this one's forgettable. I can't remember much of anything that happened in this film. The 5th one. Yeah, I don't know what else to say. The last... I'm just going to lump these 2 together and just say that the last segments of Try, I guess the last third of Try, it just falls apart for me. I'm sorry, I can't enjoy it as much as I could enjoy the earlier films. I think all the problems that Try has in these 4 films are magnified and just completely... You can't do anything to avoid it or not acknowledge it with movie 5 and 6. Omnimon Merciful Mode is cool, I guess. I don't mind it. I don't mind the design. I'm trying to think of something else. I'm trying to think of something else positive I can say. I like the scene with Matt and Gabumon. Matt and Gabumon's really good. I think it's... Was it this one? Yeah, it was this one. It's like it's like we don't know if Ty's gone for good or not, and Matt is just generally breaking down and don't know what to do. And even though he doesn't have his memories, Gabumon's there for him. So that's really cool. And I can't believe I didn't mention this. I mean, I guess we've still got this one here, but throughout all of Try, once again, Tentamon, best lines in the series. He learned how to sweat when he saw a picture of Mimi. Let's just move on. So, Digimon Try as a whole. I've made it very clear that I think the series just gets worse as the story progresses. So I think it's only fair, with 3 films being down here, 1 film being there, 2 being up here, I think Digimon Try overall is here. There's still lots to enjoy with Try, I can't stress that enough, but unfortunately the plot for me gets worse and worse as it goes. Like, the story just gets less and less interesting, it gets less and less... well, I guess I should say it gets more and more confusing Try ends with so many unanswered questions, and I don't think we're ever going to get those questions answered unless we do get like another, like a third adventure film to go along these two. But I don't know if that's going to happen. So this one's going to be another short but sweet one. So leading up to Last Evolution, we had these like short OVA episodes for the 20th anniversary. The most, I've probably say the most popular one is the first one that focuses on Sora and basically explains what her mentality is and why she doesn't really get involved during the events of the movie. And they are also, these shorts are also just focusing on just the Digimon partners and the characters that don't get much to do in Last Evolution, and just they're just short, sweet, extra bonuses. To be honest, I haven't watched them in a while. I should probably rewatch them at some point. They're not easy to find. I think the only official way you could watch them is maybe from some kind of physical copy of Last Evolution. Maybe, I don't know. The copy I have doesn't have them, but maybe there's a special version or something. I don't know. Anyway, these adventure shorts, if you will, I think they are sweet. They're harmless. I'll put them in B. Last Evolution. You know what sucks? Growing up. You know what sucks? Adult life. You know what sucks? Moving on from your childhood. That's what this film is about. You want to be depressed? You watch this movie. Last Evolution is an emotional ride. And wow. Just wow. I think for me, it's S. It's S. Like, I had some complaints about it when I first watched it. Like, similarly to what I was saying about the old films, I complained about Sora not getting involved, not wanting to get involved. But on retrospect and on multiple rewatches, I grew more of an understanding of why Sora made the choices she did. But yeah, Last Evolution, we see our characters in their early 20s. One scene that will always stick out to me was the scene with Ty and Matt just simply having a drink at a bar. I don't know why, but when I first saw that scene, I was just like, oh, my kids have grown up. They've grown up. They're talking about life or just having a few drinks. Like, wow. I never thought I would see a scene where Ty and Matt are just chilling in a bar talking about life while drinking alcohol. It's good shit. Soundtrack's amazing. The story is again just full of emotional beats. Oh, and the film does a magnificent job doing what Try didn't even try to do, and that is having the Adventure 2 squad here. I think that was one of my cats bumping into the door. What was I saying? Yeah, so Last Evolution focuses on Ty and Matt mainly, and the Adventure 1 group after that. But the Adventure 2 group are here. Davis, Yoli, Cody, and Ken. They have their scenes. They have their involvement. They are part of it. They don't get much to do, granted, but they're remembered. They're involved. They help out. And I loved it. It was fantastic. It made me appreciate Yoli especially. In Adventure 2, Yoli I grew to dislike every time I rewatch Adventure 2. But then Last Evolution came around, and more on that when I get to it. But this film came out, and I watched that too. And these two films, Yoli's one of my favourite characters, if I'm being honest. I just love her what's the right word for it? Her energy, I guess. She has so much energy. She just a very positive character, and I really like. I enjoy her presence. I think it's the best way of putting it. And I can't say as much. I can't say the same for Cody, or at least not to the same extent. But in a similar idea, Adventure 2, I didn't really care much for Cody, even when I was a kid. Last Evolution and Adventure 2, the beginning here. These two films, yeah, he's still kind of at the bottom for me, but I appreciate him more. I appreciate him a lot more. But yeah, I could again just ramble on about Last Evolution. It's such a great movie. I feel like it is just One of those films, if you've been a Digimon fan as long as I have, you're always in for a good, admittedly also emotional, like, damn, that ending with Tai and Matt with their Digimon. But it's still a good ride. You're going to enjoy it. You're going to cry, you're going to get emotional, but you're still going to laugh, you're still going to smile, and you're still going to enjoy what Last Evolution has to offer. Absolutely. Every time. I'm going to rewatch it, like, anytime I decide to rewatch Digimon Adventure, Last Evolution is always going to be a guarantee yes. Like, everything else, I don't know for certain, but these two here in S tier, I will always rewatch them. Happily. No problem. I can never get tired of it. And let's move on to an odd one here. I wasn't sure if I should include this one this time around, but this is the Digimon Adventure reboot. I wanted to like it, and I do like it in certain aspects. Music's fantastic, the fight scenes are amazing. Seeing branched and extra variations of Digivolutions for the main partners, and still seeing some of the, again, just some of the storylines they end up taking part in with some of the episodes, it is good stuff. But to this day, I still haven't finished it. I got bored. I got bored of it. And I was close to finishing it too. The reboot has, I think, 66 episodes. I was on like 59 or 60. Like, I was so close to finishing the damn thing, and I had enough. I had enough. But still, the reboot still has its positives alongside its negatives, I feel. I don't know if I'll ever go back to it. I don't know if I'll ever try to watch it fully ever again. But who knows? Who knows? I think the reboot deserves to be in B tier at least, because despite my issues with it, I think it is still... certain episodes are still really good. Certain story arcs are still really good. Wasn't a fan of... who was it? When they were dealing with Devimon, when TK got involved at first, I wasn't a fan of how the others ended up back at Earth, and they weren't doing nothing, but they were the second plot. They were the B plot. You know, A plot was still in the digital world with Tai, Matt, and TK dealing with Devimon, and then it's just like, okay, well, the other characters, they're not going to be a part of this plot anymore. They're going to have their own plot to the side. It's important, I swear. You got to pay attention to it, but there's stuff like that I just didn't like. So, anything else I could say about the reboot? I can't think of anything else. It's been a while, and again, I haven't even finished it. No, I think that's enough for now. I'll give some closing thoughts on everything before I wrap up the tier list, so the stream. Now, finish to the beginning, the most recent edition. I watched this literally a few days ago as of this stream. Tell me if this sounds familiar. Have you ever wanted to like something, but the more you look at it, the more you watch it, the more you think about it, you just go, eh. Unfortunately, like Adventure 2 itself, it's fine. But I will admit, I was hyped for this film. I was excited for this film. The Adventure 2 group deserves to have a movie dedicated to them again. They deserve to have their own screen time, even if I'm not as attached to them as I am to the Adventure 1 group. These characters, this group, still deserve their own time to shine, and that's what this movie was. And there was still lots of great things to love about it, don't get me wrong. Especially with the new character, Louis, and his relationship with his Digimon, and also the potential revelation that him being the original Digidestined is one thing, but his Digimon partner is also potentially the one responsible for everything else that happened, or at least some of the shit that we saw in all this other Digimon Adventure media, for the kids to become Digidestined, to receive Digivices, to go through all that they went through. Potentially Our new characters in this film are responsible or partially responsible for that, which is mad, crazy. Kind of like Try. It's kind of like one of those unresolved plot lines. We never get a definitive answer on exactly what was going on or how accurate that statement is on if they're responsible or not. But I think the biggest issue is there wasn't really a conflict. There wasn't really a major threat. Like, this film was pretty much just Louis telling the other kids, well, I say kids, they're in their 20s as well at this point, the Adventure 2 gang about his backstory with his Digimon partner, Ukamon. And a majority of the film is just that, backstory. I feel sorry for what Louis went through as a child, like, goddamn. But the majority of the film was just him giving the others his life story as the original Digidestined. And then the climax of the film is we need to get Louis to talk to his Digimon. Oh, we'll have it so that the Digimon has digivolved into this big, gigantic form, and for whatever reason is hostile towards the gang as they approach it, just so we can have some action scenes. But and speaking of, Angelomon got done dirty. Angelomon was done dirty in this film. All of the gang digivolve, and less than a minute later, Angelomon's de-digivolved. It's because they wanted the Digimon to DNA digivolve. I get it. But still, Angelomon's an ultimate level. One of the most strongest ultimate level. What do you mean she got taken out within seconds? Are you mad? Like, whatever. I didn't mention this with Last Evolution or Try, but one of the things I also just liked about these later Digimon films and stories was just seeing the kids older, just seeing the kids at an older age. That is something I do appreciate across the board, regardless on the quality of these films. But yeah, I think this film will also go in B tier, so that's a lot of B's. I enjoyed the ride I was on, still had some great moments, but can't compete with Last Evolution. Sorry. Oops, sorry. You don't deserve to go there. Okay. I think that is going to do it. I think for the most part it's pretty much the same from last time I did this. I can't remember. So yeah, that's it. There's a lot more I could say about each of these. There really is, but I don't want this to go on for too long. If I were to just try and break it down in short, I will admit the nostalgia's strong with this one, but even without nostalgia, again, Adventure 1 is just, in my opinion, an enjoyable ride full of a lot of character growth, a lot of character development, and every main character alongside their Digimon partner gets their chance to shine throughout the story, and that is what's fantastic about this series. Last Evolution is a fantastic emotional send-off / endpoint, even though it's not the end. But it could have been, but it's not. But whatever. Point is, it's a great movie. These three films, after finally sitting down to watch their original Japanese forms, all great, all good, all charming, all have their highs. First Try film, in my opinion, is still a fun ride, and you can get a lot of enjoyment out of it. Unfortunately, though, it does plant the seeds of what issues Try's going to have in the future. Adventure 2 has its faults. I have issues with the story, especially in the later half, but... Oh, I didn't even mention this, though. The World Tour arc is just charm. It's just joy. It's just fun. Like, that is something I do enjoy. Seeing the Adventure 1 kids during Adventure 2 was always a hype moment, because they were kind of like... I get why we're focusing on the Adventure 2 team, but whenever a member of the Adventure 1 group got involved, it was kind of like just a hype moment, I feel, for any fan watching. It's just like, oh shit, Ty's involved, let's go. Oh shit, Matt's here. Oh shit, Joe's here. Good old reliable Joe. So that's all good. I think I run it about it for a while in the original stream. I haven't even mentioned the ending of O2, which is apparently still canon, by the way. So everything with these films still leads to that, and well, that's something I can briefly talk about before I end the stream. But yeah, Digimon the movie, I think this film has become a guilty pleasure for me. I don't love it, I don't hate it, I can just sit back, relax, and enjoy it. It's junk food. It's the anime film equivalent of junk food. Best not to have it all the time, but whenever I do have it, yeah, I can just switch my brain off and enjoy it. Revenge of the Abormon deserves more attention. I think it's a shame that it kind of is just in the shadows of all this other stuff, in my opinion. Like, it's not forgotten, but it's just not talked about that much. I don't even know if you can get a physical copy of this. Can you even get a physical copy of this film? I don't think you can. PSP game, probably won't play it again anytime soon, but it's good enough for what it is. That's all I'll say about that. Second Try film shows more issues that Try will have as a whole, but I think the second film is enjoyable enough, and the stuff with Ogremon and Leomon in that movie is enjoyable, as short as it was. Speaking of short, these extra short episodes, that's what they were called, the 20th memorial stories, or story, whatever. Again, it's just more extra Digimon Adventure content. If you just want a little bit more, the extra cherry on top, that's when you go and watch these. Reboot could have been better, but has its highs as well as its lows. Good music, still good story stuff. Well, certain episodes. So yeah, I wanted to like this film more, but it's fine. It's okay. Maybe on a rewatch I'll appreciate it more. There's definitely a lot of interesting, I would say, lore stuff for the Digimon Adventure universe, that's timeline, that this movie introduces, that I think is going to be talked about a lot amongst the community for a while. Third Try film, it tries to have its emotional moments and other moments that could be enjoyable, but whatever. Try as a whole, what I just said about all of it. It has its highs and lows. Unfortunately, it just gets worse as it goes along, and that's why these three films are just gonna sit here. I'm afraid. I hate that even one Digimon Adventure thing is here, but it opinions. So let's not ramble on anymore. Let's just call it a day here. This is gonna be me attempting to revive / bring life to my third YouTube channel, which is what this will be uploaded on. I'll make sure there's links to it on my Twitch page. And yeah, I would love to see a final adventure film. I watched a video about it the same day I watched this movie. Could there be a third film to go alongside these two, as kind of like a trilogy to wrap up literally everything with Digimon Adventure? And then that would lead into the Adventure 2 ending, which I haven't complained or rambled on about that much at all during this stream, which amazes me. To put it brief, I hated the ending as a kid. I hated it. I didn't agree with it. As I got older, I still didn't agree with it, with the time skip and what have you. But I respect the later products of Digimon Adventure trying its best to make sense of it. And this is what I'm saying. If we could get a third final adventure film to go alongside these two, I think that would be really good. And that would be like, the characters are at the age they would be leading into the ending of Adventure 2 to completely wrap up Adventure. That would be nice. So, with all that said, I've rambled on enough. There's a lot more I could talk about with this series, and maybe I will in future streams or videos, but this is supposed to be just a tier list. I've done the tier list, so what are we still doing here? I don't know. So until next time, I'm going to go consult the Elder Gods and figure out what other tier list streams I could do next.